So what's up, guys? So here's a new topic for this video, and it's about why men like My Little Pony. And even though the series is a decade old, people still do not seem to grasp why men like My Little Pony. They would rather just bash men rather than just take a look for themselves. And they just rather make these assumptions, and you just bash men because they hate us for our hobbies and our escapism. And for those who are listening and they wonder why you guys should listen to me, well, I have some credentials regarding it. I used to be a member of the fandom, and I was kind of deep into that fandom. And this was when it was at its peak, which is the mid 2010s. I used to be a member of MLP forums, and I used to post there a lot. And so I've had experiences interacting with the fandom, and I've seen the fandom up close. Heck, I've even went to a convention before. So hence I already have plenty of experiences with the fandom. Unlike people who just get their information from commentators on YouTube or they just get their information from anyone if they want an excuse to pick on someone and feel superior to one another. So some of the most common reasons I see people making about why, or just from the fandom itself, of why men like My Little Pony. So usually you will hear, because it's a really good plot and the characters are well developed, unlike what you typically see in the franchise that's based on toys. Because that's one habit that lots of companies have. They would just make shows in order to market the character instead of just trying to develop the character, just creating a unique plot or just something that's actually interesting to watch. Heck, even Disney has a habit of just creating characters in order to sell products. I mean, you see some of the recent movies when they have a character that is a tiny character that many people, especially girls, find really cute. So they create those characters so that they could make money off of more toys. But My Little Pony Friendship is Magic was a show that was kind of broke off from what you typically see on shows that are based on toys. And another reason why people say that My Little Pony is popular with adult men is because of the references to classic media, or just how actors from other popular franchises get started in MLP. For example, there was a Star Trek actor who voice acted as Discord from My Little Pony, and that's why Discord became some kind of a cult character in the fandom. But there's a reason, in my opinion, that no one wants to talk about why many men might like My Little Pony. And that's because My Little Pony was a refuge, and it was a show that gave men an escape to a world where they could be accepted for who they are. Because look, for those who don't know, main characters of My Little Pony are the main six, and in the universe there's Earth ponies, unicorns, and Pegasus. And they all have different abilities. Their ponies, they're just like regular ponies. The unicorns, they could cast magic. The Pegasus, they could fly. And there's also the top of the chain, and that's the alicorns, which is a unicorn that could fly. Just a combination of a Pegasus and a unicorn. So the main six, there's 2 Earth ponies, 2 unicorns, and 2 Pegasus. The leader is a unicorn named Twilight Sparkle. But despite their differences and their different interests, they all manage to be close together. And this is something that men really crave. I mean, this is what men are longing for. And we live in a world where we need status in order to have a connection. And My Little Pony is kind of an escape from that world. I mean, for those who watch the series, I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've watched far enough. And I know that Twilight became an alicorn later, so basically she just gained status. But that did not affect her friendship. She wasn't oh, screw you guys, my new friends are Princess Celestia, Princess Luna, and Princess Cadence. Those are my new gang. She wasn't like that. She kept her friendship even though she gained status. She didn't look down on her friends just because they had lower status than her. And again, this is what men are longing for in this society. And it's also important to mention that I'm not going to generalize everyone, but a lot of the people from my experience with fandom, all of them are neurodivergent, or at least they're not they didn't grow up being status in school or anything. They're just basically like men who were struggled at making friends. And even despite that, there was also guys in the fandom who were in the military, or they're in high stakes jobs, or they're athletes. And even then, like, the fandom kind of brought them together. It's kind of like one of those times when men were kind of brought together, in my opinion. And of course, people don't like that. Especially women, they don't like that. Of course, like any other fandom, there was drama, but I felt this fandom was a bit unique compared to other fandoms, regarding like how it kind of became like a male space, and just how good the show was with Escapism. Like, when I first watched that show, I just couldn't really believe that like the characters were really, really close to each other despite the differences. It's not something I saw in real life. And even though they did have some issues with each other, they managed to resolve them. They didn't let it break apart. And just in addition to main six, there's also like a trio of characters called like the Cutie Mark Crusaders, and that was basically like teamwork makes the dream work. They were trying to help each other in order to like get their cutie mark, and they end up getting like similar cutie marks, which is kind of interesting. Again, you don't see that in real life, especially among men, because like we live in the dog-eat-dog world, and for us men, like, we're told that we should see each other as status climbing ladders, or opportunities to look for the opposite sex. So yes, that's just my take on why I feel the MLP became popular with men. And of course, I defend these Bronies because I feel that male hobbies need to be defended, especially nowadays, with the way things are going on in the world. And yeah, thanks for watching.